Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello. My camera's up here now. Sit it down here.
Yeah.
Or
All
go up
right. Well,
there.
with that being said, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. Today is Monday, July 22nd, 2024. You may notice I have new glasses. I recently had an eye exam about a month ago, and it was deemed that I needed change my prescription a bit. Is it was cited that my reading ability was starting to suffer a little bit. Um, just just more the case of things had happened as you get older sometimes. So now I got
Yeah,
bifocals, and my eyes are trying to adjust the best they can. So
yeah. It's learning how to do your eyes up and down for the different lenses in the bifocals. That can be difficult.
yeah,
It's
I
either that or
thought
getting two
that
pair of glasses and switch it back and
would
forth.
be would make things easier, but thus far been kind of a pain. But anyways, it's just probably just a matter of me just getting used to them more. But anyways,
Yeah,
so just a reminder to everybody, of course, if you guys can go ahead, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, with that, before I get started and talk about what's on tap for tonight, um, Rick, would you like to do an intro?
sure. Let me bring up my channel. Let me get my channel here. I'll link to it. So I'm just going to promote my channel and ask anybody that's watching to, if you haven't already, yeah, maybe go over, check out my channel and and if you like what you see, subscribe and watch a bunch of stuff to try and get my view count up, my
Yeah,
time up.
yeah, there it is. I see you've added something to your screen there, to your studio there. Or
Yeah, I decided to, I'm using OBS and doing the virtual camera, so I decided to, sort of crunch me, just instead of seeing the whole kitchen background, I figured just um, somewhat focus on me, and then make use part of the screen to pop some of my stuff up. I can change that picture there. Of course, I have my name. I might even put Rick Piper underneath Cross Comics eventually. It's just starting to do do these little things to make it look neat. I'm not
mm-hmm.
sure what the right word is, but I think you get what I mean.
Yeah. All right,
You
so
know,
there's the link, everybody. If you guys want to go check his channel out,
and of course, do that after that we're done here tonight. Or if you want to just quickly, go over and sub, that's fine. But you want to stay here for the gist of what's going to be going on,
all right.
reading the
So
articles.
so what on tap for tonight? Of course, we're gonna go over one article from Bleeding Fool. Talking about Neil Gaiman, and he's been in the comic news of late, just because he's come under some fire as he's had some sexual assault allegations levied against him, and due to those allegations, of course, he was recently forced to cancel appearance. We're going to look at that. Of course, we'll also be doing the wrestling wrap up as obviously WE, AEW, TNA all had stuff going on this week, and of course, TNA had their Slammiversary event, with some major shakeups going on there. There's also been, of course, some moving, shaking in terms of rosters on particularly in the WWE, and then also, of course, more towards the end, we'll be doing the This Day in Each History segment. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started here? I will go ahead and um, pull the. Go ahead and share the material here. And I even have it already queued to the actual article as opposed to just the. Um, and as always, guys, if you haven't already, you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. And also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we will try to answer the questions the best of our ability. So, with all that being said, here we go. Neil Gaiman appearance canceled in wake of sexual assault allegations. Article by Avi Green, published back on July 18th, which of course was last Thursday. So, and we've had quite a few discussions on Avi's covers, so let's see how he does tonight here.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of Neil Gaiman's public speaking appearances has been canceled, according to the following information provided by a writer for Tortoise Media, which first reported about the sexual assault allegations he's now facing with a police report to back them up. Let's see. Paul, and this is the tweet here from Paul Corona Galizia. Neil Gaiman's first scheduled event since we reported sexual assault allegations against him has been canceled. So it looks like the reports have indeed had some negative effect on Gaiman's career and reputation, though, as some may have noticed, any coverage by the comic specialty press has been muted. And last time I looked, comic-centric sources like Bleeding Cool, Newsrama, Comics Beat, and even Popverse haven't said anything at all. Now, Bleeding Cool is, of course, the I guess the main rival of Bleeding Fool here. I guess.
Yeah.
Only Bleeding Fool, CBR, and Comic Book Movie seem to have reported anything. Well, CBR that's kind of a surprise because they're also considered a bit of a chill site for the mainstream comic scene, but
it's a question of what they're saying too.
Most peculiar that the believe all women, quote unquote, liberal establishment in comicdom has apparently chosen to ignore this potentially serious issue. Yeah, one of the things that's been talked about recently with all this too is that Neil Gaiman is one of those who says you should quote unquote believe all women. So there have been a few more articles since then, however, and the following from Airmail, though largely behind a paywall, does have something most eyebrow-raising to say about one of Gaiman's The Sandman comic book issues from nearly 35 years before in the first two paragraphs that are accessible. And then this is of course from the article that
he was just talking about.
Yeah. In 1990, in the 17th issue of his comic book series, The Sandman, the writer Neil Gaiman told the story of a character called Erasmus Fry. In the story, Fry is a world-renowned author with a dark secret. He had kidnapped and imprisoned a muse whom he arped for inspiration while forcing her to call him master. Oh boy.
Yeah, and of course they want to read stuff into it, whether there is anything to be read into is speculative at best, I would say.
Right. I mean, I don't know if anybody's gonna want to be trying to pull a Sigmund Freud here, but
yeah, and plus, not that it's commonplace, but this sort of type of story is somewhat, I'm not sure how the best way to word it. Commonplace, although part of it's not there. In this one, Tango, the woman that's put up in the thing, the tower, and her hair grows. She's captured and put away.
Are you talking about? Have you read this story, Rick?
What? No. But I'm just making comparisons in the fact that Tango, I've heard Rapunzel. Is it Rapunzel, the one with the
are you talking about Rapunzel? Rapunzel, let down your hair. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So she was captured and put away. Obviously, the other part of that story is not in there, but capturing a girl and locking her away is commonplace trope in stories, shall we say. The princess is always captured in lots of stories.
I do know that the original Dark Shadows show did it actually quite a few times. In fact, one of the minor storyline plots was the wife of Quentin Collins, Jenny Collins, being locked in a tower after she'd kind of gone crazy.
Yeah,
that's another story for another day.
And even with say Shrek, what's her name? Shrek's wife before she becomes her wife. Again, she's captured and locked away for a thing, and then a prince has to go and save her. So it's a commonplace trope.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know some people who would play who'd be playing Sigmund Freud here would probably try to say that maybe there was something already in there in his, but then again, as I would always argue, as I sometimes argue, I think we're all capable of stuff like that.
Hey, Metal. We have Metal in the chat. No vomitorium tonight, Metal?
I'll let him. I was just talking to him just before I came on tonight. He told me, but I'll let him tell you if he wants. Hey, Metal, thanks for popping in, my friend. Anyways, for years the story was received warmly. It was as if Gaiman had chosen to ridicule the notion of the quote-unquote great man of letters by explicitly showing us the toll that these men take on the people, more specifically the women around them. However, that reputation has just been complicated enormously by a new podcast series from Tortoise Media, written by Airmail writer-at-large Rachel Johnson and Airmail contributor Paul Caruana Galizia, which accuses Neil Gaiman of sexually assaulting two women decades younger than he is. The podcast is entitled Master. According to one of his accusers, this is what he made one of the women call him.
Metal response: no marsupial flight. No, marsupial's flight got delayed. Okay.
Yeah. So, since the time of the two allegations so far was said to have come years later, this suggests the acclaimed writer was influenced by his own work and ideas, taking them out of the pages of fiction and translating them into real life in sickening ways. Which makes the whole scandal even more jaw-dropping and stupefying. After this, who knows how much longer the tale from the Sandman 17th issue will be received positively. Now, here's the thing you guys have to understand.
People are going to want to read stuff into stuff that's not necessarily supposed to be read into. But, that's the way of society, right?
What was that, Rick?
I said unfortunately, people are going to read into stuff that it's not meant to be read into just because they want to, because it's the way of society.
Right. And I think because of the time we're in, but
Oh yeah,
something
that too.
something to take into consideration here from the realm of psychology, and psychosexuality, as it were. There are some people who do have a, kind of I think it does fall under the BDSM field, where there are people who do have, kind of the idea of kidnapping fetishes and all that. Now, granted, most of the time they will usually do this in a consensual manner, but of course, when it goes non-consensual, that's when you have the problem. So
Yeah.
just to kind of
And unfortunately, we don't know all the details of these
right,
allegations either.
right. According to Neil Gaiman's post, I guess tweet here or whatever, or tweet. On a day like today, it's worth saying, I believe survivors, men must not close our eyes and minds to what happens to women in the world. We must fight alongside them for them to be believed at the ballot box with art and by listening and change this world for the better. Of course, apparently, I don't know if Neil has ever read the story of Pontius Pilate's wife and what sometimes happens.
Yeah. Or yeah, actually, I don't think you mean Pontius Pilate. I think you mean this Potiphar's wife
Oh,
from
Potiphar's wife. Yeah, that's what I was
in the Old Testament.
right. Story of Joseph.
Yes.
So, here's a more recent op-ed on the subject from the New Indian Express, which also discusses the scandal of the late Canadian writer Alice Munro siding with a sexually abused husband, and it notes horrific deeds of fallen heroes. All kinds of people um, make all kinds of art, and the quality of the art is no measure of their character. So, and here's from the article. In Monroe's case, what she did to her daughter and didn't do for her over and over is damning. In Gaiman's, I would bet my last rupee um, that there are more than two women out there whom he has harmed this way. There always are men who predate on young women tend to be serial offenders. Sadly, it's very possible, as some info I'd previously this obvious speaking in previously highlighted indicated this too. Now he's facing fallout for his alleged misdeeds, while Monroe may be gone now. Her reputation has taken a fall too. Time doesn't look like it'll be kind to the reputations of these disgraces to the literary and comics world. And of course, one of the other problems with this too is that Gaiman is one of these, and you saw that tweet in there. He's one of these Me Tooers. He's one of these people who say, "Oh, believe all women." It's kind of
Yeah.
funny how these guys, they sit there and they just blindly say, "Believe all women."
Yeah. And then they find themselves in a mess where maybe the women are to be believed, maybe they're not. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the case, so I don't want to comment on that. More than what I just did, just because I don't know. I don't know nothing about it
Right.
except that he's been accused. And yeah, sure, police reports been filed, but lots of people file police reports for false allegations
Mm-hmm.
too. And are they? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. I'm not part of that. So
yeah. So, anyways, with that, let's see now. So we're already at 20 minutes here, and the only reason I picked one story because I had a feeling I'd probably be going a little long on the wrestling. Because of course, as I mentioned to you before the show, Rick, um,
yeah,
there was a pay-per-view, as it were, over the weekend. That's TNA's Slammiversary. So what we're gonna do right now, of course, we're gonna actually move on to the wrestling wrap-up.
but I must say, for an Avi article, it wasn't too bad. He didn't say anything too controversial or really think anything controversial at all, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he was more and for an Avi article, he was more to the point. There wasn't really too many like sidebars, and he supported himself, pretty well here with the art with the links to those articles, the art the portions of those articles that he used.
Yeah,
So
and he stayed on basically what they were talking about and didn't go off on a tangent, which he tends to do.
right.
And that's where I think he gets himself in trouble, going off on a tangent.
All right. So, anyways, now we're gonna, as I said, move on to the wrestling wrap up here. We're going to first off, let me go back to Friday, of course. Friday Night SmackDown. Talk about what happened on there. As this and next, because they're gonna be um, off somewhere, I believe, the following week. They actually taped two episodes of SmackDown this past week instead of just the one, because I think they were going off to.
Hello, Neo Phantom Gamer. How are you this evening?
We have, hey Neo Phantom Gamer, thank you for dropping in. If you haven't already, of course, you can like and share the stream here when you get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Again, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So,
I'm glad you're doing good.
Yep. That way we'll do that. All right. So, anyways, we're already on the wrestling ride because I felt we were gonna probably doing this a little bit long tonight. So,
Yeah, well, we'll see where it takes us. If we end up 10 minutes early, that's all right.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We are on the
Yeah.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, WWE will be having its SummerSlam event. On, of course, August 3rd, a week from Saturday, I believe. So, but I think. Oh, I know why. This week they're actually on a Japanese. So the WWE is on a Super Show Summer Tour this week from the 25th to the 27th. So three Japanese dates in Osaka and Tokyo. One night in Osaka and then the other two in Tokyo. So now recently, of course, the WWE had been doing doing a bit of a talent exchange with Pro Wrestling Noah and the recently established Marigold Wrestling, where I think AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura went over to do some matches in Noah, and I believe I can't remember who, but one of the female talents went over to Marigold. It might have been Io Sky, in fact, who might have gone over. But with that being said, let's take a look at this past Friday's this past Friday's SmackDown, which of course will be from. Oh, actually, that one's for. Okay, hold on. This past Friday's SmackDown, which is from the CHI Health Center in Omaha, Nebraska. A night opened up with Andrade defeating Carmelo Hayes in the opening matchup, and Bianca Belair with Jade Cargill in her corner, defeating Chelsea Green, who had Piper Niven in her corner. Now, Chelsea Green had recently come out and stated she wanted to, in the hopes of trying to bring the Divas title back. The likelihood of that happening is probably not going to be because of, I guess, the negative connotation the Divas title brings into it. It's like, I think a lot of people thought of the Divas title as more of a showcase title for women who were more, more glamorous, more like, more the type you get what I'm saying, right, Rick?
Yeah, for sure.
Michin defeated Tiffany Stratton, who they've been pushing lately as a potential contender to the WWE Women's title. And then the main event saw Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens defeat former SmackDown Tag Team Champions A-Town Down Under. So also what's been going on with some of the WWE news is recently it looks like they've on the Eternal roster they've taken Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Tamina off of the Internal roster. Now the reason this is a big deal is because apparently the Internal roster, if you're on it, it means that they may have something planned for you at some point. Now, even if you haven't been on TV for a while, they may have something for you. Now, Lashley's contract is coming due supposedly at the end of August. I think MVP is already, his contract's about up as well. So there's been some talk that if they do, and it looks like they are leaving the WWE, if they do end up in AEW, there's been some rumors speculating they might try to, under a different name, possibly bring the Hurt Business back together as at least Shelton Benjamin, who was previously released, is currently on the independent scene. But these are just speculations right now. So, and of course, speaking of AEW, of course, on this past Saturday's Collision, so I find it. On this past Saturday's Collision, which is they're getting ready to they're preparing for All In towards the end of the month here, I believe. Let me just double check that real quick. All In, which will be coming to us from Wembley Stadium in London.
Good old London.
Yeah, on April 25th. On April 25th. And of course AEW will have its Blood and Guts Dynamite this Wednesday. Royal Rampage on Friday, even though it's being taped on. And then apparently AEW is having a show in San Diego, I guess co-promoting Adult Swim Battle for the Booty. And then on the 27th, which is this Saturday, they'll be having a Battle of the Belts event. As they're in Arlington this week, I know Ring of Honor will also be having an event this week, and we'll be looking. I guess we should take a look at that real quick. So The show opened up with Darby Allin making his in-ring return since coming back from injuries on Dynamite this past Wednesday. He defeated the Beast Mortis in the opening match. Hikaru Shida defeated Sky Blue by referee's decision after Sky Blue had challenged Hikaru Shida, debuting, of course, a new look and all that recently. Let's see, and then Hikaru Shida, in her post-match words, had laid out a challenge to Dr. Britt Baker for this Wednesday's Dynamite. The battle of the two former AEW World Women's Champions, as well as the two former rivals, will be up again this Wednesday on Dynamite. Ray Fenix answered the open challenge of Premier Athletes Tony Nese and defeated him in 11:02. Roderick Strong defeated Tomohiro Ishii in a battle in which the Undisputed Kingdom, to further the feud between the Undisputed Kingdom and the conglomeration in preparation for Roderick Strong's upcoming title shot at the Ring of Honor world title from being currently held by Mark Briscoe. Hologram made his debut on Collision, defeating Ringo Loco in just under 5 minutes. Even though they're calling it a lumberjack match, it would technically be a lumberjill match. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Thunder Rosa in a battle of two former world champions here, women's world champions. Deonna Purrazzo, of course, got help from another former world champion, Taya Valkyrie. Now, for those of you who don't know what a lumberjack or a lumberjill match is, it's when two wrestlers wrestle in a ring, and then the ring is surrounded by other wrestlers. The general idea is if a wrestler tries to run out of the ring, then the lumberjacks are supposed to throw him back in. But as often happens, depending upon where you land, now usually the rule is you're supposed to just throw him right back in the ring. But if let's say you're the face in the match or the good guy, you land on the heel side, the heels will beat the out of you before throwing you back in. But if you land on the friendly side, as it were, then usually they'll help you out. They'll like give you all the time in the world to help you get back in the ring. But that's basically So Taya Valkyrie handed Deonna basically a turnbuckle bolt, and Deonna used it on Thunder Rosa to get the win. For those of you who don't know what a turnbuckle bolt is, it's that piece of metal that basically helps hook the turnbuckles together. You'll see in the corner. Usually they have
the corner piece,
right? So that's basically what that is. And then in the main event of the night, in a match to crown the recently vacant AEW World Trios titles, the Patriarchy of Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne defeated the recently former champs, the Bang Bang Gang of the Gun Club, Austin Colton Gunn, and Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson, in essence, stepping in for Jay White, who had recently been injured. Now, what led to this match, of course, was initially it was the Guns and Jay White who were the AEW World Trios champions, along with being the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag, the unified Six-Man Tag champions. Juice Robinson had been, who'd recently come back from injury himself, was filling in for Jay White on a lot of their six-man tag obligations, only for Christopher Daniels this past Wednesday to vacate the titles. In other words, not allowing them to do a freebird rule, having allowing a faction to substitute, members in, at any given time. So that's what led to this match. And speaking of Ring of Honor, of course, speaking of Ring of Honor, I'll go to that real quick here and talk about what's coming up this Friday on Ring of Honor. Coming up this Friday is their Death Before Dishonor event.
Yes, and the Ring of Honor is not to be confused with the Ring of Fire.
Yeah, the Ring of Honor is of course now part of AEW. Basically it's a property of AEW now, but it was at one time its own company and had helped launch the careers of many a talent, including many in AEW. So now it's been relegated to kind of what NXT is for WWE, kind of like a offshoot or a kind of like a developmental brand, as it were. But anyways, Death Before Dishonor coming this Friday, the 26th, from the Esports Stadium, Arlington, in which AEW and Ring of Honor will be at for the next couple of weeks here, or for the last week and this week. Already signed for the event. Of course, in a Texas death match, Diamante will be taking on Lila Hirsch in one of the rare occasions of a women's death match. For those of you who don't know, the rules of a Texas death match is you don't just pin the person, but once you pin them, they have to the count of 10 to answer the bell. If they, now that's traditionally, of course. I don't know how AEW would work it here, but basically, if you don't answer the 10 bell, then you lose the match. There have been some death matches over the years that have gone like 28-30 pinfalls before it was resolved. So, in the Ring of Honor Women's World Television title will be on the line as Billy Starks will be defending against Red Velvet, while the Ring of Honor Women's World title will also be on the line. Athena defends against Queen Aminata. And as previously mentioned, Mark Briscoe will be defending the ROH World title against Roderick Strong. So that's all coming up this Friday. And now, talking about what happened at Slammiversary, TNA Slammiversary this last week, in which there was quite a bit of a shakeup as you had 4 title changes on the night. So we'll go through that. So first off, of course, on the countdown, the pre-show to Slammiversary, the opening match of the countdown show saw a 4-way women's match pitting Tasha Steelz, Bobby Apache of AAA Wrestling, Giselle Shaw, and Xia Brookside, in which Tasha Steelz, the former TNA Knockouts World Champion, won the match. Kushida defeated Rich Swann in a one-on-one match. In a match for the TNA Knockout World Tag Team titles, the team known as Militia of Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich defeated former Knockouts World champs, basically getting their rematch in Spitfire, Danny Luna, and Jody Threat. And then the main event saw Eric on the countdown show saw Eric Young defeat Hammerstone. And on the event itself, on the pay-per-view event itself, it's Slammiversary. Matt Hardy defeated JDC Johnny Dango Curtis in the opening match, trying to get some revenge for JDC's interference in the Hardys' tag team title loss against the System of Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. It was also stated that on this past Thursday's Impact that JDC also attacked Matt Hardy's wife, Rebby. So, in getting their rematch, their contractual rematch, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, the team known as ABC, defeated the System to regain the TNA World Tag Team Championships over from Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. Mike Santana defeated Jake Something in a one-on-one match. The Rascals with NXT star Wes Lee, formerly a member of their faction in the past, defeated NXT No Quarter Catch crew of Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Tavian Heights. In a match for the TNA digital media in a Montreal street fight, as the Slammiversary was held at the Verdium Auditorium in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. PCO defeated AJ Francis to become the new TNA Digital Media champion, as well as the International Heavyweight title that apparently AJ Francis had bought, the actual physical belt, was going around claiming himself to be an International Heavyweight champion. The lone champion to retain their title was Jordynne Grace, as she defended the Knockouts World title against Ash by Elegance, the former Dana Brooke from WWE fame. Jordynne Grace retained that title in 12-18. In a match for the TNA X Division title, Mike Bailey, who now I believe is a 4-time X Division champion, defeated Mustafa Ali to become new champion. And in a 6-way elimination match, Nick Nemeth outlasted Frankie Kazarian, Joe Hendry, Josh Alexander, and the former champ Moose and Steve Macklin to become the new TNA World title. In which, from what I've heard, I haven't seen any actual data on this, but during the match, Josh Alexander turned heel, turning on Joe Hendry. So that's all that went down this weekend in pro wrestling. Now we'll get ready to Rick, I know you don't follow wrestling as much, but anything to say there?
Nothing that I can think of at this time.
Yeah. Oh, and just to let you know, Rick, there actually is a local wrestling organization, if you should ever decide you want to go check some wrestling out, that's based out of Windsor, called Border City Wrestling.
I've seen a few different local things. I'm not sure whether it's one, but I've seen a few different ones here, posters on, like stuff downtown.
BTW, Border City Wrestling. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the letters are or what it was called offhand. But I think I've seen a few different ones, and I have been tempted to go at times, but
some of the guys from TNA actually also wrestled for BCW.
Oh, okay.
Jake Something, Bhupinder Gujar, Cody Deaner.
Of
course, a lot of the talent from TNA are from Canada too. A lot. So you do have a lot of.
If I'm downtown and I see a poster, I'm gonna take a picture with my phone and maybe I should be downtown in the next couple of days. So maybe I'll see if there's a poster and I'll take a picture, and that way you can maybe I can show it on Wednesday in the wrestling wrap up.
All right. So with that, now of course we are at the 45-minute mark now. So what we're gonna do is gonna start to, of course, wind down a bit here. Today being Monday, July 22nd, 2024. Let's take a look back. This day in each history. History. So
History.
all right. So first off, we're going to head back to 1998, which of course was 26 years ago today. As on this date in 1998, the 20th issue of Deviate from Image's Wildstorm imprint went on sale on this date back in 1998. 26 years ago today, Images is Deviate number 20 from their Wildstorm imprint went on sale on this date 26 years ago today, back in 1998.
I wonder if they deviate from the norm in that comic.
It sold for $2.50. There's 32 pages. So there we go with that. Now moving on to the next piece. We move ahead to 2009, as on this date in 2009, Mick Foley defeated Kevin Nash for the TNA Legends Championship on this date back in 2009. So 15 years ago today, Mick Foley defeated Kevin Nash for the TNA Legends Championship. Only 3 days after Kevin Nash defeated AJ Styles for the Legends Championship on their I guess that might have been their Slammiversary event on that day. So and 2009 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. As also on this date in 2009, Totally Spies the movie premiered in France on this date back in 2009 from Marathon Media. The Marathon Media's Totally Spies the movie made its French debut on this date back in 2009.
In France, it would be Totally Spies Le Film.
Yep.
That's the poster says Le Film.
Yep. So with that, I thank everybody so I do thank everybody for being here tonight. So before we do head out, Rick, did you want to do an outro?
Well, we're going to do something slightly different for it. I am actually going to promote my website where people can go check out some of my stuff. They can even maybe even buy this book here if they want and get it shipped to them. They see this is the first issue of Canadian Shield remastered. That just means it's been the art's been slightly tweaked and it's been recolored. So, just to make it look a little bit better than the original. Not that there was much really anything wrong with the original. Something I wanted to do. So yeah, go check out my site. You can see stuff on my characters and all that. There's lots to be done on that. Not as much as I'd like to be on that site, and I've got to update it soon.
All right. So hey, Metal's back.
I re-edited it by me twice.
Yeah. So with that,
I think that was number 2, not this one.
All right. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I'll be back, of course, here tomorrow night with more, niche news. I probably will have Rick back on Wednesday. So with that, I thank you all for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.